Everybody, St. Paul here. Yeah. Welcome to Music on the Run. This episode features an unbelievable drummer, Kenny Aronoff. He's next on Music on the Run. Hey everybody, St. Paul here. Welcome to episode 30, I cannot believe it, of Music on the Run. My next guest is one of the world's most influential and in-demand session and live drummers. Rolling Stone magazine, in fact, cited him as one of the 100 greatest drummers of all time. And Modern Drummer named him number one pop rock drummer and number one studio drummer for 5 consecutive years. Whew. His credits include John Mellencamp, The Stones, Springsteen, to name a few. He's an author, a motivational speaker, and he's also got the hippest glasses, so that's why I put these on. Please welcome Kenny Aronoff. Kenny, hello, Kenny.
They're all lying. It's all a bunch of lies. I'm actually a Navy SEAL, and I make pancakes on the sides. I mean, this drumming thing is phony baloney.
Well, you know, you fooled a lot of people for a lot of years, though, so...
Dude, I even have a drum set. It's like I don't even play drums.
Do you make pancakes on those drums? Is that what the deal is?
No, I do that I have a big famous pancake restaurant and actually a business called, Kenny's Pancakes.
Kenny's Pancakes in Irvine. Is that correct?
Yeah, Irvine.
Good
It's down
for
right
you.
now because of COVID, but I'm making COVID cakes.
Oh, you make
No,
COVID.
the COVID cakes is actually a Pfizer and I hooked up. It's a new inoculation. You eat the pancakes, you feel good. Period.
You're done. How much are the pancakes? $6,000 a piece?
Yeah, no, they're free right now. But if you have one blueberry, it's $10 a cake.
I see. Well, I understand. That's a good business plan. I'm excited for you. You keep reinventing yourself. Wow.
Yeah. I do. Now that's a fact. I have embraced adversity my entire life.
That's true. We're going to get into all that. Before we get into all that stuff, first of all, you and I don't even know if you remember this, how we know each other. Probably 20 years ago, you and I did a record with a girl by the name of Shannon Kerfman.
Absolutely. In Minneapolis. And
That's
was
right.
it Tucker?
Tom Tucker, wow, he got
Tom
the greatest
Tucker was
drum
the
sounds,
engineer.
dude.
Sadly, he's not with us anymore. And what was the name of the studio in Minneapolis?
Was it Master Mix?
It was the one that Tom Tucker was always at.
Right. That was called Master Mix. We all owned that. Ricky, my brother, myself.
No kidding.
Oh yeah, we all owned that place, and it ended up becoming a school.
What? Oh yeah. Tucker started that school, right?
He did start that school. Yes, he did.
And wasn't there a place we go across the street, have drinks and food at the end of the session?
Oh, yeah. Why am I forgetting what that is? They got the world's greatest pork chops.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they poured a mean drink, and I was drinking back in those days too.
Yeah, that was the mean drink. Was it? And because Tom turned me on, was it like it was something with vodka in it, right?
We used to call it a bloody tooth. This much vodka and this much cranberry. And it got you where you needed to go with a quickness.
That was great, man. And was your brother on that record?
Ricky was on that. I think you've played with him a few times, right?
I did. I definitely did.
Yeah.
It seemed like,
by the way,
day,
he says hello to you, and I can't forget to do that because he wanted to make sure. He'll kill me otherwise.
That's awesome, man. I mean, tell him I say hi. Yeah, those were the days where I had 2 sets of drums in Nashville, 2 in LA, 2 in New York, 1 in Germany, 1 in Japan, believe it or not, and then obviously a ton in Indiana where I lived. But they would fly me, they'd fly me when budgets were huge. I'd be flown it seemed like I was nonstop on a plane flying somewhere to do a record.
That's the good news, right?
That's great news. You used to be out here all the time. You had a place out here for a second.
I did. I was in Venice doing the Donnie and Marie show and living out there and raising my kids back here. So my commute was between Minneapolis and LAX. And
well, that's not bad. That's like, what is it, 3.5 hours?
3.5 hours. Not a big deal at all.
And back then it was Northwest, now it's Delta. But, man, I mean, that's a breeze. You get on there, you can do work, you can read. Back in the days,
I love it. And I'm a pilot, too, so I love flying.
What?
You don't
You're
know that?
a pilot?
Yes.
No.
Oh, man. We'll talk. But I've been flying for 21 years.
Oh, my God. So
I love it.
Are you certified to fly what kind of planes?
Just little small Cessnas and Pipers and things like that. That's why
I'll
Nathan
go,
East and I
but
talk a lot about that. He's a pilot.
Look, I'll get on a plane with you, but I want 2 engines and a parachute.
No confidence whatsoever in my ability.
Well, however, the glide ratio with a Piper Cub single engine is pretty damn good.
But yeah, you're probably be in more danger in a car with me than you would in an airplane.
Yeah, and the other thing is, being in Minnesota, there's a lot of farmland and a lot of highway straight.
And there's no hills anywhere.
Yeah, you're safe up there.
Yeah, we're fine. We just landed in a cornfield. The worst that can happen, then you might get a corn somewhere, a stalk of corn where you don't want it to go.
Yeah. Well, I'll deal with that as long as I'm alive.
So, what have you been doing during COVID? I want to know what you've been up to, man.
Well, I mean, I'm the type. I'm a fight or fight guy. I embrace adversity head on, and so as soon as the last show I was doing with Fogerty, which got canceled, and like a couple before that, I went, all right, this is for real. I came home. I made a list of, I was going to go on tour all year with Joe Satriani, Fogerty, and something with Billy Gibbons. I mean, I was pretty good. And I had some speaking events. I immediately wrote down what I had and what I lost. And then I created a plan of how to, replace all of that with new stuff. I took 4 courses last year because I wanted to. This was an opportunity to grow mentally that would all feed into the speaking business. And a couple of it was personal stuff. Like I took a positive intelligence course, which is all about moving all negative thoughts and negative energy, which is in the saboteur part of your brain, over to the sage part of your brain, which is positive. And they've done MRI studies where if you're always negative, you can see literally as if it was a muscle, it builds up in your brain where you think positive. It's a different muscle, and the brain matter, you can see that it's way better to be on the positive side. And it's been proven that you live, a longer life, a happier life, less stressful life, which will make you, in generally, more healthy. Someone just hit me up on that. I thought, what the heck? And I was in a group with all business, corporate people. It was amazing. But I would never have done that if it wasn't COVID. Now, with regard to touring, there was really that's done. But thank God, 12 years ago, I'm in my studio right here, Uncommon Studios, LA. Right. And 12 years ago, when I saw the budgets change, and I'm living in Indiana, in the Midwest like you, and all of a sudden it was like, hey, Kenny, if you happen to be in town, I went, what? And then I said, are the budgets changing? And they went, yeah. So I got an apartment out here, eventually got this studio, built it up. And so this year, I thought maybe there wouldn't be a lot of sessions because, people are trying to survive and save their money. But the thing is, and the cool thing is, not that I had to be reinforced with this idea, but music makes people feel good. Talk about saboteur and sage. Yeah. Music makes people feel good from a place in your heart. So I think a lot of people, they didn't care. And they wanted to make music. It made them feel good. It's the only thing that made them feel good. So, in many cases. So, I had a huge, successful year in recording here. I even did an Access TV show. It was Sammy Hagar's road show, and we had Sammy did it here. We had the camera people from Access TV come in to see if there was enough distance where they could get the cameras in and get the right shots. So we did. It was featuring Lukather, whose gear is right down the hall from me, and he was like almost my neighbor. So he was featured. Can you imagine Sammy interviewing Steve? That was great. And so then we actually did Crossroads from like Cream, like when they recorded it, with that feel, and his son Trevor played bass.
Yeah.
It was badass. It's just a blues. So, and it was badass. So, and by the way, live, no edits. Sammy's like, dude, I got a monitor. I don't need a monitor. All I have to hear is the guitar. I mean, Luke had his double Marshall stack. and
because he can.
Yeah, and I'm such a shy, quiet drummer. This room was pounding, and the vocal mic is right there picking up. But it was incredible. Anyway, that was the drumming, recording, performance element. Now, because I'm a speaker and I do these more inspirational speeches.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that, because I don't think a lot of people know about that side of you.
Well, let me just say, I adapted. I created lights and got equipment and cameras, and I got like 3 computers in here, 3 TV monitors, and I got 2 iPads to run this whole thing, plus Pro Tools, Digital Performer, switchers. I mean, it's not a casual thing. It's a serious operation here. It's like a TV studio. But anyway, the motivational thing, or inspirational thing is, when I came up with I wrote my autobiography, Sex, Drums, Rock and Roll.
Right.
A
few years back, right?
Huh?
A few years back, right?
Yeah, maybe, was it 5 years ago? I don't know. 5 or 6,
right?
Something like that. Anyway, so I got asked to speak, and I put together basically I called it an evening with Kenny Aronoff, and I had a deck like you could see behind me.
Right.
Oh wait, here I'll show you. I mean, I got pictures, I got slides I can run through, different things like this, and I put together a deck that would go good with the event I was doing, and then I just slowly but surely. I went, wow, and I accidentally ran into a speaking agent, and I had a meeting with him, and he looked at me and go, look, kid, or Kenny, because I could be his dad. He'd go, Kenny, most people think they can speak, and they don't got nothing to say. Am I allowed to swear on this thing?
Whatever you want, yeah.
Oh, okay. So he says, look, most people think they can speak, but they ain't got shit to say. And he explained to me how this works, and wow, it's just like anything else. Playing bass or drums, it looks easy when you make it look easy. You make it look easy, people go, oh, I can do that. Until nobody knows what goes on. And I don't care what it is. It could be being an expert at scratching your bald head. There's a technique you have to learn.
A lot of practice there.
And so, actually, I came up with this method, which I talk about. It's called...
Do we speak about that? Do we? I'm getting there, Kenny. I'm coming for you, baby.
No, you're all right. If you haven't got the cul-de-sac, I had the cul-de-sac in my 20s.
You had the cul-de-sac. Is that what you call it? I got the 5 head. That's what my brother calls it.
No, you look great, man. If you let it go up a little higher, you look like, what's that guy from, the Munsters or the Addams family?
Eddie. Eddie Munster.
I
hate you. The interview's over. Thank you.
I'm going to call you Eddie from now on.
Oh,
Eddie
I
M.
hate you.
Hey, Eddie M. Hey, Eddie.
So,
anyway, I have this thing called RPS. The repetition of any skill is the preparation for success. I mean, playing bass, hours and hours, working on every angle, every aspect of the instrument. Same with drums, same with golfing, same with diet, same with lifting weights, same with business, anything. We're not robots, we're humans. If you expect shit to come to you, and no one's born successful. You make your success. And what's more, you can't set it and forget it.
Right.
You got to keep working on it. In the old days, you could become successful, and that's it. These days, no. Hence the COVID. Look at our business. LPs to cassettes to CDs. I went, enough already. And then all of a sudden, CDs weren't in it. It was like downloading and then iPods with all your music. And then it's free. And that's what created the no budgets for records. Because I'm on 3 records that sold over 40 million copies. Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell 2 with
10 minutes and 35 seconds.
Huh?
How many minutes was Bat Out of Hell?
It was 10 and a half minutes, and the record on the radio stations won 3.5 minute songs. So when that record was recorded, I was going, this was 8.5 minutes or 8 minutes when we were recording it in LA. And I went, you guys are wasting your time and your money, but go ahead, pay me. I don't care. Spend a week on that song. A year later, I get a call and they go, hey, Kenny, we want to record more songs on Bat Out of Hell 2. Are you available? Yeah, I says, and we're adding 2 minutes to that. I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that. I went, are you effing kidding me? So they added that. I would do anything for love.
Right.
But I won't do that except for me. I would do that. I do all of it.
No, I won't do.
Yeah.
I want to know how big that chart was.
Oh, dude, that's a great question. So, like a lot of charts, everybody knows I'm the most anal chart writer in the world. I write every note out. But
why is that?
The reason why I write every note out is I have a shit memory, and I can record 10 songs, or let's say I do the Kennedy Center honors, or let's say I do an event with you where you're like, well, I saw you up there doing that corporate thing where you were the conductor, and look, you hire me, you can count on me, you know, I write charts, and every time you say, hey, Kenny, could you, I go, and hey, Kenny, could you, I write down the tempos of every song. I write down who I'm going to count off to. When should I count off? Do I count off? Do I give the tempo to the conductor? To you, you're the MD. I'll have a discussion with you. I get a script of the show. When I do Kennedy Center honors, I get a script of the entire rundown. When I did Obama's inauguration, I did 25 bands. Ooh. And so me and the MD... I'm the Tom Brady. You're the Bill Belichick. You need to have me on the field to execute what you want done. And so the MD would call me up because, man, you didn't have to worry about tempos. You didn't have to worry about count-offs. When Tom Hanks says I already have my sticks up, already got the click going. I look at it, I have to count off to whoever. I go, get their attention. I go, 3, 4, and we're in. I got everything written down. You don't want to mess up when Sting is there, McCartney's there, Elton John's there, Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars, 16 cameras on you, being filmed and recorded live.
You're a perfectionist. You want to do the thing. You do your job 1,000% is what it sounds like.
Absolutely. So this is the only way I'm going to remember all that information. One example was on a Meatloaf record, the Bat Out of Hell 3.
Yeah, tell me that.
And so
that's where we were going with that originally.
Remember the power station it was in New York, one of the greatest studios there was the power station, then it turned into Avatar or whatever. I can't remember. Anyway, the point is, it's Ron Neverson. Did you ever work with Ron?
Mm-mm.
Boy, tough guy. He's old school. If you don't know how to play, he'll beat you. It's not this like baby hand-holding, coddling. Oh, can you just loop my one measure and make it a song? No. I'm the guy that can play. When I record, I play from the beginning to the end. That's why it's great to write everything out. From the beginning to the end because you get a performance. You can't program that. You can't loop that. So, dude, learn your goddamn instrument. That's the way you become succshelf.
There it is.
Back then and now. You want to make it in a business? Learn your instrument. You still will be top shelf call if you get a reputation of being a bad mofo.
Right.
So anyway, Ron, I've got 3 pages of me scribbling every note. It looks like black. And so Ron, I'm making some adjustments, and here's what Ron goes. Ken, what are you goddamn doing? You writing a letter to your mom? And I said, Ron, when I get done writing my letter to my mom, I'm going to give you one take, and then you can tell me what you like about it, and then I'm going to give you another take from beginning to end. And I did. And I did. Now, here's the deal about that. You work with a producer like that, he's got zero tolerance, as you can tell. Yeah. When I go through beginning to end, now he can be a producer. He can listen to me and go, oh, that's good. Okay, would you do this, this, and this? Right. Sure. As opposed to, no, Kenny, there's 2 choruses after the second release. In other words, I know the form. I'm playing with a click track, and I can keep time. I know all my parts. Lets him be creative. So there's this creativity going between me and him with that big glass between us. I'm a producer's delight because I can let them be creative.
Right, they don't have to worry about you.
You don't know. Everybody, it's all about creating. Now, that Bat Out of Hell song you were talking about, I'll never do anything with love, but I won't do that.
Yep.
Dude, it might have been like 10 pages. I had 3 or 4 music stands, and I had to keep doing this. And Jim Steinman would go,
what? I can't see. Wait a minute.
Oh, dude, it was insane. So, and I was younger back then, so, and I didn't have time. They didn't send back then because there were big budgets. They didn't send you like the music ahead of time. You walk in, and they play it. God, Nashville used to terrify me. They'd play these demos that sounded like finished product. They're using the number system, and the people who want to know what that is, what they'll do is, like, if you're playing in the key of A, and the 1 chord is an A chord, the 5 chord would be E. So A, B, C, D, E, 5 chord. And then they might go 5 with a 7, flat 3. I don't have to worry about that, but I listen to, if I hear a minor chord, I go, oh, yeah.
Right.
So let's say the first measure is an A chord. Second measure is a 5 chord. So you got 1, then you got a 5. Then the third measure is a 3 chord. They have a 3. Then they have the fourth measure might be back to the A chord. And then you go on and on. So you got this number chart. So they would play the song, and the bass player or the keyboard player or the guitar player would start writing out on the fly this number chart. Then they play it one more time, and I'm sitting there trying to memorize what I'm hearing. Then they print out the charts. Everybody takes a chart, and they go to their stations. Now in Nashville, they record everybody at once. Drums, percussion, maybe 2 or 3 guitar players, pedal steel, violin, singer, and whatever else. And everybody is impeccable. Everybody plays. Everybody has great time, great feel, great instruments, and everything is fast. And so while they're going out there, I'm like, please play it again. Oh, no, I know. They do one run-through with everybody there. And I'm sitting there scribbling, writing. I mean, these drum parts are impeccable. They're incredible. And writing, and then everybody goes in there, and I'm like, please play it one more time. And I'm writing and writing and writing and writing.
Yeah.
And I'll go, can you play it one more time? I write it down. I go out there because they expect the drummer to nail it in the first take.
Of course.
And you have to understand, down there, it's, all this, 10, 2, and a 6 session. That means at 10 o'clock, I get there at 9, get drum sounds. At 10 o'clock, bam, we start. We're going to record 3 songs, just like I described. 3 songs I've never heard with this process between 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock. That's 1 an hour. Then I got 1 hour to get lunch and get to the next studio. Go to the next studio, or unless we're going to do it all in one studio. Next studio, a lot of times it'll be another session. I have another drum kit over there. I get sounds, and we go through this whole process again from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Then I got 1 hour to get to the next session, which could easily be another studio. Sometimes they'll take my kit in the first studio and then move it to the third studio. It was just insanity. And I would just be running all over town. And so, you have to be, for me to be at that level, you got to be able to read music. And so, when I got that education in classical music, I thought, and when I graduated, I got into the Jerusalem Symphony Orchestra, and I turned it down. I turned it down because if I back up, I saw the Beatles when I was 10 years old. I told my mom, I was blown away. I didn't know who they were. All I know is I said, Mom, I want to do that. Call the Beatles up. I want to play in the Beatles. And because at that split second when I saw the Beatles, I was like blown away. I mean, this was a heartfelt experience. I was bouncing off the wall. I was exhilarated, and I didn't know who they were, where they were from, but I wanted to be doing that. And I asked my mom, call them up. I want to play with the Beatles and get me a set of drums. Well, she didn't happen to have the Beatles number, so she didn't call them up.
Mom.
She didn't get me a drum set, but I showed you earlier this picture of me. And my parents went to New York and got me this a snare drum and a cymbal. Let's see. Not there.
That's your house.
No, there it is. That's the Beatles. Okay, that's me. 10 years old. I got to see. Now, look how small I look. That snare drum is actually tiny.
Is it?
Well, it's your standard, 14-inch.
Oh, you poor kid, scared to death.
My mom just told me I was born. When I left the hospital, I was 4 pounds.
Ooh.
I have a twin brother. I was a preemie, 4 pounds.
Oh.
My wife's Chihuahua, skinny little rat dog, is 6 pounds. Dude, I can sit there and fly it around. I'm like going like this, whipping around. She's like, "Don't do that." I'm like, he's a rat dog, and he pisses on my furniture, and he pukes, and he shits. So I'm flipping him around. So anyway, that dog is so light. I was 2 pounds lighter than that.
Than the dog.
Like my grandfather.
Yeah.
What?
2 pounds lighter than the dog?
I guess the dog's 6 pounds. I was 4.
Aye.
That's crazy. My grandfather was a butcher, and he said, "Man, this kid's not even as good as a chicken." Yeah.
But hey, I'll be here all week, folks.
Yeah, anyway, so I saw the Beatles, but the cool story about that, I started that band, the Alley Cats, and I just played through, probably like you. We just played in bands all through high school. When it was time to go to college, they asked me, "What are you going to major in?" Because in my family, we all went to college. So I said, "Well, music," but there was only jazz or classical majors. I'm so old, they didn't have rock, nothing. There wasn't even a drum teacher teaching rock, so I was self-taught. So I got into an okay school for classical. Basically, I spent a year trying to catch up, and then I transferred to the #1 school of music in the country, Indiana University School of Music, Bloomington. Hard to get into, even more difficult to stay in. I played opera every semester. I eventually won a concerto competition where in your senior recital, you have to play a mallet piece, which is marimba or vibes, and one of your 4 pieces. And I picked this monstrous violin concerto that Itzhak Perlman played. He's a great Israeli, violinist, virtuoso. He played it as his encore, which means it's got to kick some butt. Yeah. It's a beautiful piece called The Introduction to Rondo Capriccioso by Camille Saint-Saëns. I can send you a copy of that, and then you can play it, but it's ridiculous. So I spent maybe 2 hours a day for 365 days learning that piece and building it up to at the end, it's like, I'm going. So my teacher said, "Wow," when I gave my recital, and it was one of 4 pieces. I played a virtuosic timpani piece, 2 pianos and percussion with 2 virtuoso, grand pianos, and then a percussionist and a drummer, timpanist, and then 2 other pieces. But he said, "I want you to enter this contest." So it's a concerto contest. All right, I enter it and I win. That means I perform with a 60-piece orchestra, this violin concerto, memorized, of course, on a marimba in an opera hall at Indiana University. This opera hall is bigger than the New York Met in New York.
Wow.
This school does not mess around. Anyway, I kicked butt on it, and that was when I was barely 23.
How do you get from there to auditioning with Mellencamp?
Well,
was
what
that your
happened
first big
was,
break?
so I get into the Jerusalem Symphony Orchestra, which is huge because there aren't that many orchestras. And I turn it down because I still want to be in the Beatles. So the next 4 years, I'm struggling, trying to catch up to be a rock guy. And many times I was like, "Why did you do this classical training? all those years, you could have been playing drum set. Now I'm thinking, I got to compete with Steve Gadd, Steve Smith, Billy Cobham, Vinnie Colaiuta. I mean, I'm like, what? Oh, man, I felt so lost. Anyway, I'm practicing 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, studying with two great drum set teachers, one in New York and Boston. I'm living at home. Then I moved back to Indiana. Everyone told me, you're making a big mistake. The music business is in, I'm sure you can relate to this because you're in Minneapolis. Music business is in Nashville, New York, L.A., not in Indiana, college town. So I go back there to form a band. It was a fusion band. You know, we were playing Gino Vanelli and some Cobham and, you know, Mahavishnu Orchestra. I mean, you know, that's the music I liked. And the idea, the business model was get in a house, write songs, get a record deal, make a record, go on tour. Right. Didn't happen. 3 years later, didn't happen. So I'm like, God, I'm 27, you guys. So it's like, jeez, I'm going to move to New York. But a week before I move, I'm having.
So you were totally searching at that time.
Yeah, I was off a team, man.
I lost. Like, there. I got your audio back now.
Oh, did you lose me?
Just for 1 second. That's all good.
Right. Make sure this battery packs. Okay, let me know. So basically, I'm not part of a team. I'm jobless. So I'm having lunch with this girl, a singer-songwriter. Says, hey, you know, there's this guy. He's got a record deal, and he's on this new network called MTV. And I went, I've seen him, and he's on the radio, and he just got back from tour opening up for Kiss. And, you know, he fired his drummer last night. I went, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
I went, whoa, touring, records, TV, Saturday Night Live. Well, he wasn't on Saturday Night Live yet, but anyway, I go running out of the restaurant, go to a payphone because there was no cell phone, put a quarter in, call the guitar player, say, look it, man, can I audition? Are you auditioning? He said, I'll call you back in 2 weeks. Call me back, says, all right, you can audition. I auditioned, and the wild thing is I only played 2 songs, and of course I memorized the entire recent record playing. I wrote everything out, memorized everything. Funny thing is I didn't understand why the drummer played so simple. This was not my realm. I was in a different... It was almost like I'd been looking through a telescope, and now I'm looking through a microscope. Both worlds, you know, valid, but just different directions. So I win the audition, but the way I found out was as I'm packing up 15 minutes after we played, there was a meeting with the band, and the guitar player who I'd call it comes down and says, smiles, shakes my hand, goes, welcome to hell. I went, whoa, whoa, what does that mean?
Yeah, great.
So I go, well, if you read my book, you'll find out. I mean, so I'm so pumped. 5 weeks later, we're in L.A. at Cherokee Studios on Fairfax. I'm sure you know it.
Yeah.
And I'm making a record. I tell everybody, I've done it, I'm making it. And after 2 days of recording, I'm fired.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. We're staying at the Chateau Marmont on Sunset. We have a band meeting. And I can feel it. I can feel the vibe.
Yep.
And my boss says, you're not playing that record, you're fired. And I'm like, what? And here's the bottom line. Here's the deal. Well, you're recording with tape back then, no Pro Tools. So they need the drummer to have great drums, great sound, great time, great feel, play with a click track, be able to take instruction, be able to adapt and adjust, be creative, be innovative, have good communication skills, be able to adapt and adjust, all this stuff. And the producer needed to get the record. It was Steve Cropper in 8 weeks. Wow. That means record the drums and then overdub everything and then do the vocals, which takes forever. And then, you know, mix it. I mean, 8 weeks is a short time with a kind of a green band. So the producer says, no, I got to use my session guys. So my boss is telling me, you're not making a record, you can go home. And what happened after that was a life-changing moment. And what it was, I said, no, I'm not going home. That would be like me saying to you, Paul, hey, Paul, I'm firing you. And you go, no, you can't. I went, you're fired. He says, nope, I'm not fired. I went, what don't you understand about you're fucking fired?
You're fired.
Yeah. And so I look back, and what was happening was this guy was trying to take away my purpose in life, my bliss, my deepest desires. I was like, done. I'm done. I did the classical thing. This is where I want to be. I didn't know what I was going to do, but you can't send me home. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. I felt like a loser. I felt just all this negative stuff. So I'm trying to negotiate a deal that'll benefit the both of us. So I go, all right, am I still the drummer in your band or what? And there was silence. And he's going,
You're half fired.
Yeah. So he goes, it's kind of like you're not on the field, you're on the bench, but you're about to get walking papers.
Yeah.
So he goes, well, you're not playing on the record. You're still in the band, but you're not playing on the record. So I said, all right, and I'm fumbling. I go, I'm going to go in the studio and I'm going to watch these suckers play my drum parts on your record. And I'll watch and I'll learn, I'll take notes and I'll benefit from that. And you'll benefit because I'm your drummer, right? Right?
Right.
Silence. I'm like, oh, shit. I mean, all right, you don't have to pay me and I'll sleep on the couch.
Really?
Sure. That sounds good. What employer doesn't love hearing the employee will work for free? But, dude, I learned so much watching these guys. The whole thing was, I had no experience making records.
Yeah.
I had literally, this is the bottom line, I had no experience making records that get on an album, that get played on the radio and become a number one hit. I mean, the purpose of a session player, you and me, really, if we're hired, is one thing. Get the song on the radio to be a number one hit.
Right.
It's not about me. It's about we.
We. Yeah.
The producer, the artist, the song, the music, anything but me. What can I do to get the song on the radio? I mean, it's not about me. Forget about me. It's about what do I say? What do I not say? What do I play? What do I not play? Get the song on the radio to be number one.
Right.
And so I didn't even think that way before. It was always about me. Think about it. When you're practicing all day long as a child, it's all about you. Me. How do I sound? How do I look? How do I play? Me. But now it was pivoting into this new world. And that's when I went home after those 4 weeks, I went, wow. Okay, how do I learn to be the drummer to serve this guy's music, this guy, this band? How do I fit in with this new corporation I'm in? Yeah. So I made a vow. I says, I'm going to make that next record. I got to redeem myself. So let's jump ahead 2 years. Yeah. When Criteria Studios in Miami, you know it. And listen, this guy, I'll reveal his name in a sec. This guy, it was the hardest, most miserable record I've ever made in my life. Which, he was going through a divorce. Oh. He was about to lose his record deal. I didn't know. Mm-hmm. And I saw him go by me and the bass player one night in the dark on his Harley at 80 miles an hour, and the dog jumped out. The bike goes down, hits the pavement, sparks are flying everywhere. Motorcycle hits a tree and explodes. And we're like, slam on the brakes, headlights, bright lights come on, and we're just like, oh my God, all of a sudden, he's hobbling across the road and then back across. That son of a gun, when the bike went down, got on the bike, spinning around, and was athletic enough to push off before it hit the tree.
Oh.
So the bottom line is, he was not in the greatest mood. 2 guys in the band got fired. Bass player, keyboard player. I almost got in a fist fight with him because he was being a complete jerk.
Yeah. And
I realized if we get into that, I'll be fired. And I vowed I'd be on this record. So one day I walk in the studio and the co-producer has got this metal box. I say, hey, Don, what's that, man? He says, oh, this is the Lin 1 drum machine. And the Bee Gees are using it next door. Yeah, I'm thinking, drum machine? What? That replaces drummers, right? Yeah, I says, what are you doing with it? He says, oh, we're going to use this on this song, we're having a trouble with, with the big chorus and everything. I'm like, I'm being replaced by a machine. Fight or fight, life-changing moment. At that moment, adapt, adjust to stay relevant in the adjusting technology. I grab the box, the drum machine, the manual, go into the lounge and say, well, I'm going to program this sucker. I wanted to be part of it. So I'm learning it, and I programmed what I was playing. Then I hand the box back to them, and I'm in the lounge going like, what the fuck is going on? And it's triggering all that thing that happened 2 years ago. So all of a sudden, I get summoned 3 hours later, come in the control room. Boss goes, dude, we need a drum thing here after the second chorus. Machine is kind of boring here, like a solo right there. And I'm excited and terrified. I'm terrified if I fail, I'll get fired. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited. I'm going to be on the record. Thank God they spent all day getting drum sounds, because back then most of the drums were recorded in like vocal booths, so you could control the ambience. Yep. And well, this guy wanted the drums in the big room. He wanted the biggest drum sound in the world. And In the Air Tonight was on the charts with Phil Collins, so that was a big sound.
Yes, it was.
So during that whole time getting sounds, I'm thinking, what am I going to play that's going to serve this guy's song, that's going to get the song on the record, that'll get it on the radio? And what can I play that's going to go flying through, car stereos, TV, speakers, and, radio. And so it's my time. And the machine is going, doosh, 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 ka, doosh, doosh, doosh. And this is what I call my kabam moment. K-A, get it? Kenny Aronoff? And so, doosh, doosh,
I like
doosh,
it.
kabam! Kabam.
Yeah.
And so it's like Calabunga. So it's kabam, and I stop, and I look in the control room, and everyone, 9 of them are going like that. I'm like, whew, still got my job. That's what I'm thinking. Right. So I try a whole bunch of stuff, and I hit a dead end, and I'm summoned in, and they go, do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. My head's spinning, and I go, oh my God, I got to save my career. I got to save my ass. So I get out there, I'm 50 feet away from the drums. I'm going, dude, this is the moment. This is your moment. Strike out, and you lose the World Series. Hit a home run, and you win the World Series. I'm 40 feet from the drums, and I'm going, what are you going to play? I'm at 30 feet. I don't know. 20 feet. What are you going to play, dude? 10 feet. I don't know. I get to the drums. I look at them, and I look up at those guys. I went, shit. I went, okay. Instead of throwing the baby out with the bathwater, I'm gonna use what I already did, but somehow do it different. Which is basically I shifted it in eighth note. Instead of playing like boom blah goose goose go, I went boom blah 1 which is all offbeat. Mm-hmm. And the boss goes, yeah. Look, at the long and short of it is, let me see if I can find a picture of this thing. The long and short of it is, this ended up being this record right here. Not that record, and not that record. That. John Cougar Mellencamp's biggest #1 hit single ever. And he got 2 Grammys. We sold millions of copies. This was it's like I hit a home run.
The classic Kenny Aronoff drum fill in the middle of that song makes that song for me. I mean, it's a great song, but what a moment for you.
Yeah, I mean,
what a moment for the song.
It launched my career.
Of course.
It launched my career. I remember Harvey Mason seeing me at NAMM and go, dude, are you the boom ba doosh doosh doo doo ga goo doo doo goo 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 doo ba ba boo boom. He said, are you that guy?
You're the triplet guy.
I don't have my Pro Tools on. I could play this, but I'll have to turn my headset off. I wonder if it'll come through the... You want me to see? I'll play it softly. You want me to play it?
If you got it, sure.
I don't have to play it. I could dance instead.
I'd like to see that more. I've heard you play that one. No, you're good.
Yeah, anyway, so I don't have to play it because I don't have the sounds that aren't great. But the thing is, that was the beginning of... Now, dude, do you think that corporation, John Mellencamp, didn't want me? I just made him $1 million. Now, for the next 17 years in that band, every time he played a song, and I mean, they all sounded pretty much the same. Acoustic guitar. He'd play it twice and go, what do you got, Aronoff? And I used to think, God damn, man, give me a chance. But what was happening, smart, I made him millions of dollars, do it again. And so for the next 17 years, that's exactly what I did. I had to come up with simple but creative parts. Like, for example, let's say like the Authority song. I fight authority, authority always wins. The thing, now check this out. Originally, typically, you do accent and eighth notes on the hi-hat. But I'd been listening to Charlie Watts play, and he'd do this thing where he'd come off the snare, off the hi-hat when he hit the snare.
Four, tune 4, yep.
And I was listening to Stuart Copeland with the Police, so I'd go, all this like busy little intricate hi-hat stuff. So I shifted from what I showed you to that, and the bass player turned around and went, oh my God, you're playing Police and Stones, and so he went from typical what you do following my foot, boom, boom, boom. He went boom, boom, and the guitar players had to change their parts. I took 2 hi-hat notes out, changed the whole song.
Jeez,
that's creativity and innovation.
So wait, he challenged you to do that. And
you
had to come up. You had to come.
I had to always
the
come up. He'd go like, "That's a shit beat. Look, it hurts so good." That was my first big song. That was the first single on the radio before Jack and Diane. Yep. Hurts so good and Jack and Diane were in the top 10 at the same time. Back then, there's a million charts. You could be number 1 on chart, and there's maybe 50 records sold, never even played on the radio. This was the day where there was 2 formats: singles and album-oriented format. Right. If you were on a singles format and you were number 1, you were on every friggin' station in the world. You were on Saturday Night Live, American Bandstand, Solid Gold, every TV. You were obnoxiously everywhere. It's not like, hey, well, I hear people say, yeah, I'm on 20 number 1 singles. What? Never heard one of your songs, and they sound like shit anyway. It's like, because they're number 1 on some format that nobody listens to or cares about. Yeah. This was, you knew it. If you were number 1, you were competing with Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5, or the McCartney, or, Billy Joel, the Police, Tom Petty, the Stones, everybody. Springsteen, they were dominating the charts, man. So, it hurt so good. What happened? When I got in Mellencamp band, I started practicing left-handed to dumb my playing down. So that means I'm playing a left-handed lead on the hi-hat as opposed to right-handed lead. And John plays this song, Hurt So Good. Hurt so good. Come on, baby, make it hurt so good. So I'm thinking, and I went, maybe I'll try softly. I'm going, I'm playing left-handed, and John goes, whoa, what beat are you playing? I'm like, oh, shit. He's going to hate. He says, why haven't you ever played that beat before? I went, I've been playing that beat for 2 years.
Right. Wow.
But here's the takeaway. He doesn't know if it's left or right-handed. The feel was different. I was a beginner playing left-handed, so it was sort of sloppy and greasy and cool.
Yeah.
John loved that. So the whole song was built around that feel.
You playing left-handed on the hi-hat.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. Check this out, Paul. When I played left-handed, if you listen to the song, when I go around and did tom-toms, see, if you took the hi-hat out, when I listen to the recording, you take the hi-hat out when you do fills, it's like something went away. Because we took the AC/DC approach. It was very minimal. This song was like, one guitar, with the hi-hat still going, because that's going. You take that away, and it gets weird.
Yeah.
So I had to play hi-hat through all my fills.
So and you just fill in with your right hand, then.
Yeah, but at least I wasn't going. I was going. Dude, that's why the fill. But that was perfect because it was such a simple song. And I remember being at Cherokee where I got fired.
Yep, right.
I'm back there making a number 2 hit single, and on the same record as Jack and Diane, and so I'm listening to the playback, and I remember going before I listen to playback, I go in and I'm like, God, man. I'm playing these stupid drum beats, Jeff Porcaro's got all the cool stuff on, Rosanna, and then, Stuart Copeland gets to play it. Bonham is like killing it, and I'm stuck with and then I heard the playback, and the drums were way up in the mix. And I went, oh, my God, it's not the part. It's the feel and the energy and the personality and the spirit. And you could feel every emotion I'm going through. And I went, that's the shit.
That's it.
It's not the notes. It's more than anything, it's the feel, because humans, later on in life, I realized humans are feeling creatures. We're all about feeling. We connect with feelings. That's feeling. And, man, when that thing was on the radio, the drums were so loud. John said, I want to blow the shit out of any song that comes after us, and I want to crush any song that came before us. And we did. Because the song that kept Hurt So Good out of being number one was Ebony and Ivory. And then the only thing that made it more difficult was Eye of the Tiger, because the Rocky song movie was out. Gun, 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 gun. At least it had some balls, but still.
As he flips the finger, yes. So take me to the 18 years on the road. Here's what I want to talk about. Because this is Music on the Run, we like to talk about how did you survive out on the road. You've been on the road forever.
Yeah.
But we could talk about what the difference is between being on the road back in those days to up to here. How do you, first of all, you look like a kid still. How do you do that? Let's start there, and then we'll talk about life on the road.
Well, I mean, and this is me out of shape, folks. No, the thing is, all right, I have the 8 steps to a healthy life, and I put it together. I was doing it all along, but I put together 8 things. I'll try to go real fast.
No, please.
Weight training, it makes you strong. But more important is it builds your hormone levels up. Or in my case, since I'm an old fuck, keeps my hormone levels up, which keeps your immune system up. Funny how that's important right now. Cardio, only way to exercise the heart muscle. Also, keeps your hormone levels up and your immune system up. So number 3 is some form of stretching. So you've got strength, endurance, and flexibility. The other day I was like, because I've been standing getting ready for the speech, I was like, old man, I went right into yoga. I'm telling you, 15 minutes of yoga, twice a day for 2 days, done. I was like flexible and whoo,
Wow.
So you got those. Number 4, big, is diet. You are what you eat.
Yep.
It's more like what you shouldn't eat. No, fried food's not good. Too much sugar's not good. Alcohol's fine. No.
Okay, you have the alcohol. I'll have the sugar. That's my vice.
Drinking's okay in moderation. Or not, I'm the type of guy. I like to drink. Have a little bit of drink, or I'll take 2 weeks off. I don't have to do it.
Yeah.
But anyway, nobody. They never go in the hospital. Oh my God, he had a heart attack. He was told not to have 6 pieces of broccoli. 6, will kill you. You know what I'm saying? That never happens.
Right.
Vegetables aren't going to kill you. So I eat red meat, and I eat chicken, and I eat fish. I get the best quality. I don't eat a lot. I'm kind of a paleo diet. It's like, you just don't eat a lot of grains. You eat mostly meat and vegetables. Yep. That's pretty much it. And you stay away from grains, except for potatoes. That's okay. And certain nuts. I slip and goof up all the time because I'm a peanut butter junkie. But diet, let's just say diet. Now, the 5th thing for me is supplements. I'm a supplement king because I push myself. I'm the guy that used to sleep only 4 hours a night. So, a good multiple. During this COVID, I'm taking 2 quercetin. Quercetin encapsulates all your cells. The COVID can be in you, but apparently it won't. Viruses can't get into the cells. So I take quercetin, 10,000 milligrams of D3. D3 is an immune booster. I've been doing that for years. And then zinc. Take a certain amount of zinc. All these things I've been tested. I get an annual executive blood test every year. They know exactly what's going on in my body. So if my vitamin D levels are low, it increases my D. If they're high, this is D3. And if they're high, we'll bring it down, and so on and so forth. I take a DHEA supplement and a pregnenolone. These are all important, and I think they're all hormone related. The blood test says, take 25 milligrams. That's all you need. Pregnenolone, it actually said take double what I take, but when I took double, it would keep me awake all night. Took half the amount, I sleep great. So the doctor always said, blood work tells everything, but how your body reacts is the true test. So,
you know your body.
Yes, vitamin C. I take fish oil. Fish oil, you guys, good for like about 30 different things, including hair, which obviously didn't work for me.
Yeah.
No, I do. I have hair on my tongue.
Do you? Nice. Shave that bad boy.
It just grew in the wrong place. So let me see. I could go on and on. I take green food. A lot of times for breakfast, I'll have coconut milk with no sugar. I'll take a scoop of protein powder that is super. It's like gluten-free and inflammation-free. And then I take a scoop of green food. It's called Nano Greens. Great company. Nano Greens.
I'm going to write that down because I do a Dr.
There's a
Scholl's
there's a
or
green,
something like that.
there's a protein powder. I can't remember. It's my doctor designed it. But there's different ones. There's one called Kachava, Kachava, and that's a plant-based. I mix plant-based with animal, whatever the other one is, because it affects my muscles differently. So anyway, at least me. And then in that I put a scoop of fish oil and a cup of blueberries. Okay. Blueberries are great for immune boosting, and you get natural sugar. And then a scoop of peanut butter or almond butter.
I love that too.
And that gives, and the fat from the peanut butter or almond butter, that and the sugar will curtail your appetite. You'll be satisfied.
Right.
Apparently, sugar and the fat. So then that's my shake. I take 3 espressos. Three. Now, here's my new thing, folks.
Okay.
Wake up, have a big glass of freshly squeezed celery juice.
Ooh.
Now, the thing about celery juice, it takes inflammation down or keeps inflammation in you. Inflammation is the new thing. Inflammation is, if you're suffering and you have pain, that's an alarm that something's not right in your body. That's your body crying. That's your body having tears, the tears that you don't have in your eyeballs. Yep. Your body's crying. It's telling you we got a problem. If you have inflammation in your body, that means there's a problem. The body is trying to adapt and fix itself. So I'm sorry, I hit that. Fully aware of this. The celery juice, not only is I hate starting the day that way, but it's really good for you. You take it, then 30 minutes, if you really want to go super Ken, you go water and lemon juice. Lemon juice will kill viruses.
Yep.
Fresh squeezed lemon, water. 30 minutes later, celery juice. 30 minutes later, finally, 3 espressos. Then I take the protein powder. No, dude, everything is waiting for those espressos. Now, today, I cheated, man. I just, forget it. I'm going for this. I had 1 cup of coffee, not an espresso. No, I put a cup of coffee with 1 espresso in it. And I use an espresso machines, but I also use my Kabam coffee. I have Kabam coffee.
Kabam coffee.
Yeah, you can get it. There's a website for it. Cafe d'Arte. No. It's Rock D. I'll send it to you. Rock D.
Yeah, do that.
And anyway, it's Kabam coffee.
I'm a total coffee junkie. I do that, and then I do my protein shake. And I survived.
Yeah, I'm telling you what, this morning I did it. I just wanted to get going fast. There's another thing I do, which I'm going to do a little promo on. My doctor came, he's a TBI, PST, brain trauma expert for military athletes. And he created all organic substances. He created a triple pack. It's these 3 bottles. Basically, what it is, it's like it'll get rid of it almost like it's like getting the ashes out of the fireplace and putting new stuff in there to burn. And it's makes you think better, makes you more articulate, and it helps inflammation. But it's directly related to the brain. And they've done tests where he'll take an X-ray, MRI, and see how taking the triple pack is will help you help your brain and keep a healthy brain. No brain, no nothing. No brain, no gain.
That's
and
right.
The website is Millennium. Oh, damn it. Oh, it's Millennium. I might have it over there. Hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, this is a nice time for us to tell you about patreon.com/Music on the Run podcast. That's right.
All right.
What do you got?
Of course I don't. Oh, there it is. Folks, God, it's on www.millenniumhealthstore.com. Can you see that? Probably not.
No, it totally blurred out.
Millennium. It's MILLENNIUM healthstore.com. And yeah, man, check it out. Okay, number 6 is water. And I could do better on the water thing, but you realize, oh, good. Yeah, I could do better. Every organ in your body needs water. And
is coffee water?
Huh?
There's water in coffee, right?
Yeah, and in liquor.
Only if you add it.
Some people stretch it. It's in cigarettes, too.
That's it's in everything.
Yeah.
It's in ice cream.
When you're making out with your girlfriend, somehow there's water. You got to do that to drink. Anyway, that's
6 is water.
Yeah. So anyway, the water, you could live 40 days without food, but only 3 days without water.
Mm-hmm.
It's really heavy. So water, and then the next 2, I'm constantly working on. The next 2 is some form of relaxation. Stress is the worst thing for your health.
Yeah.
And so you create a meditation or a thing. I'm into this thing called I'm into this thing called breathing. But there's
oh, I'm going to try that sometime.
Yeah. You've been
We all
holding your
should.
breath. Have you been holding your breath your entire life?
Sometimes I feel like it, Kenny.
Yeah, I know. There's a thing. Check out, you guys, this guy. They call him the Iceman. Wim Hof. WIMHOFF. This guy climbed Mount Everest in his shorts. His thing is so intense. He can, I've done like a 35-minute breathing. It's basically going, and the simple exercise, 30 of those. Hold your breath for hold your breath for a minute.
Ooh.
All right? And then you 30 breaths, breathe out, hold your breath for 1 minute, then breathe in, hold for 15 seconds, do it again. And then hold your breath for a minute and a half, do it again, hold your breath for 2 minutes. I sometimes can't do it past 1 minute. It's just that day. The point is, what it does, it gets rid of inflammation, completely energizes you, and relaxes you. So what I do is I do that, feel like $1,000,000. I even sometimes start giggling. It makes me feel good. I do that 4 times. So like I said, I've done classes where I've done it 35 times, for 35 minutes and 45 minutes. Yeah. And when you're done, you feel so energized. What it does is, when, let's say an antelope gets chased by a lion and it gets away, it goes into fight or fight when it sees the lion. It runs, and when it's free, it goes.
Yeah.
You don't know how animals do that? You have a dog that does that?
Sure.
That's them shaking off stress and tension. And the breathing does that. The breathing shakes off all and so it takes rid of stress. So what I do, now you want to go deep. I go into, during COVID, I did this. I go into 30, I do a 15-minute, I follow him. He's online. I had somebody build me a thing where you do his routine, which might be 11 to 13 minutes, I can't remember. Then I go into a meditation, mind-heart thing. That's really big now. Mind-heart, where they're saying you have a heart in your, you have a brain in your heart, and there's a connection between the brain up here and the brain in your heart. I go into a meditation, and while this guy's talking, and then I go into another meditation. The whole thing is 26 minutes long. The other meditation is where I start reading affirmations. You write down like just everything positive about you, your life. I'm grateful that I have perfect health. Even if you don't say, I hope I have perfect health. You say, I am grateful and happy that I have perfect hearing, even though I'm deaf. I'm grateful I have perfect health. My hands, my arms, my shoulders, my body, my legs, my knees, everything. Yeah. You say that like it already exists.
Right.
Now, there's been proof that this Dr. Dispenza, look him up, folks, Dr. Dispenza, Joel Dispenza. This guy repaired a spine injury he had where he was going to be a quadriplegic. He repaired it with his brain. Ooh. Now, he's super gifted at this. You know, I've tried to repair. I said, I have hair. Now, it didn't come on my head.
How did it work?
God damn, I got a lot on my elbow.
Oh, my God.
Now, there is power in belief. Let me tell you something. Everybody out there. If you say, I got $1 million, if you don't believe it, it ain't going to happen.
True.
Words are ideas. Thoughts are ideas. Feelings are the truth. And feelings and the truth are your being. And your being is where that's where your whole life, your purpose, your existence lives. So I realized I'd have these affirmations and I'd be going, you know what? I'm saying them, but I'm not feeling them. Never going to happen until you feel them.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's number 7. Finally, number 8 is sleep. Okay. And sleep is one of my weakest things. That's the only time your brain and body repairs itself. Literally, at night, you know, when you're sleeping and you're repairing your brain, you're getting all the ashes out of your brain, clearing out the black matter, gray matter. And I'm not a great sleeper, but I try to get 7 or 8. So even if I get up 5 times at night, I go back to sleep because my brain is going, and maybe it's the coffee and a little bit of supplements keeping me going, but it's just sleep is important. So those are my big 8, and I know it took a long time, but you guys, it's the foundation of mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical health.
It's super important for you to pass that message on. It's what the whole podcast, besides, of course, our musical connection, is all about. It's how to inspire people who are traveling all the time, whether it's business people, politicians, musicians, whatever the case may be. We look at you, Kenny, and I said it before. I said, you look great. You look like a kid. You look the same today as you did when we did that record 20 years ago. Yeah, and there is a secret to that. And there is a secret to that. Yeah, and you sharing that and passing that on to everybody is what this is about, man.
Well, that's good, because I'm glad you are about that, because I really believe that the biggest thing that an individual can do in life is to be positive and be the light. We're going through a very difficult time in the world right now. It's really getting down to good and evil. So if you're good and you have that positive, the ripple effect of how you feel will affect the people around you. That's the most we can do.
Yeah.
Is affect the people around us, and then they affect the others. So if I've passed on anything positive, that's a good thing. Right. That's a good thing, which is what you just said.
Do you think it's a choice? I have asked other guests this. You can either choose to be positive or you can not be positive. I mean, I think you have a choice when you wake up every day to be grateful, to be positive, or not.
I agree. Now, that aside, some people can be chemically,
of course,
their chemistry can be in a way that, like, for example, if I tell somebody your dog is dead, okay, you hear that thought and you immediately go, oh, and you feel ill, your knees buckle, you get depressed, and vice versa. If you're feeling chemically down, those thoughts can come in your head. And then it becomes a vicious cycle between your brain and your chemistry. Right. And so, but if you know that, you can work with that. That's that's the message. You can work with it. And you try as much as you can to make a choice. If you have control and a choice, go to the positive.
Right.
Go to the positive.
I think if we did more of that, we would be in a much better place. And I believe we still have an opportunity here with what's going on in our nation to do that, and to do the right thing.
Yeah.
We can do that.
I agree. And any little bit you can do. This is not sugar-coated and like, oh, my God, I'm going to change the world with, big. It's one person to, like there's only 2 people in my house, me and my wife. So if she's going down, I try to be a positive influence. I try to be like a team leader, a king, a coach. If nothing else, I don't have to say anything. It's the way I act.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you tell people something and they're like, nah. You can do so. You can influence your environment by the way you carry yourself. Not tell somebody something. The way you carry yourself, the way you talk, will influence the people around you. You set an example.
People are watching. People are listening all the time.
Yep. You didn't see me do this. No. Well, that guy stuck a knife in my neck. I just didn't feel like being positive to that guy. No.
Yeah, except for that
just
guy.
Joking
He's a jerk. That guy's a jerk.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna be good to you because I know that you probably have 20,000 other things to do. But before I let you go, a vaccine is here. Do you have plans for 21 or is it? What are you thinking for our chances here?
I've already started Joe Satriani's new record.
Oh, perfect.
Which eventually I'll tour on.
Okay.
I'm about to write 6 charts today for 4 for one artist. Another one for the bass player from. He's doing a thing for. He plays with. I'm spacing. It's Italian. Huge Italian artist.
Sugaro.
I actually recorded with him. And I'm what?
Sugaro.
I'm spacing his name.
We'll dub it in.
Yeah, I don't. No, what's his name? Oh my! I can see the letters. It's got 2 C's in it. Anyway, and then another thing I'm going to do. Got some filming today. Anyway, it's more recording. More, my agent says there's going to be a bunch of speaking events I have to do, and I spend at least a week preparing, going over each speech. I will adjust for the people I'm speaking to. Each speech, each corporation has a different theme, and I try to accommodate them. So I am so busy between sessions, that podcasts. I'm working on I can't even remember all the stuff I'm doing. Oh, they're writing a Legends book on me and Modern Drummer, so I've got to edit, the interview. It's always something, it's just nonstop. I can't think of all of it, but I come to this studio every day and I'm working full on. Yeah.
Well, I hope to see you back out on the road when it's safe to go back out on the road. That's what I want to do. And I want to.
I think what's going to happen is that this year is going to be where they're not going to have major touring. It's just too impossible, in my opinion. Too many variables. Every state's different. Yeah. There are venues. Which ones are still open? Which ones are closed? You got people that have left the business. The people in crews had to figure out how to support themselves. You've got crews. You've got tour buses, planes, buses, venues. Yeah. Different countries have different laws. And the COVID's going to go through what it's going to go through. And there's so many variables. There will be some concerts this year, but the full-blown 9-week tour thing, not going to happen. It's too many variables.
Not yet.
There's too much we don't know and we're learning about. But it's going to be it's going to come back. Look at it. This is a horrible situation, but this has happened many times before we were alive. It happens. It's the way the world works. There are pandemics and people adjust, and we're just experiencing it first time. And that I want to add, that's the tricky thing about this thing. If you've experienced something, you have some reference. We have no reference to this, and the way it's affecting us, we're humans. We're sensitive creatures. So it affects everybody differently. But the bottom line is it's all new to us. So there's a lot of unknowns. And that's probably the hardest thing is the unknown and nothing to relate it to.
Give everyone your website so we can come out, find more information about your speaking, get your book. Give us that info.
Yeah, my website's www.Kenny.Aronoff, and my last name is A-R, and then it's on, off.com, and there you can see my speaking page.
Yep.
You can reach out to me to do sessions there, and then they didn't throw me off Twitter yet.
Do you need to be thrown off Twitter?
Any one of us could get thrown off for anything. I'm a drummer. I'll probably get thrown off. So Twitter is official Aronoff. LinkedIn is Kenny Aronoff. Instagram is Kenny Aronoff. Facebook is Kenny Aronoff. If you ask me to add you, I'm so sorry. I got tapped out like 100 years ago. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, you guys, this has been awesome.
Kenny, you have stayed relevant for 40 years. You're a positive cat. We don't get to see each other all the time, but every time I talk to you, man, you always lead with such a great attitude, and it isn't about how you handle yourself, man. People feel good to be around you. You're an inspiration, not only as a great drummer, but as a good man. So thank you for who you are, and thanks for all the great music that you've made over the years, man, and I can't wait to make more music with you again.
All right, 2021, you and I are doing something together.
We are.
On Zoom, virtually something. We got to do that. And are you playing guitar or bass on these things?
It doesn't matter. I'm playing everything on these things. We're going to get him on a Funk Friday, everybody. We're going to figure it out.
You and I will be the White Stripes, but a different name.
No, but the brown stains.
How about Beauty and the Beast? You'll be Beauty.
That's
You're
right.
Way better looking than me. It'll be Beauty and the Beast. I love it. Beauty and the Beast. And it's just you and me, you playing bass and singing. Or if you're doing it, putting it in post, then I want you playing guitar, bass. I want you to play all the instruments, including singing, and I play drums. And then there could be all these boxes with you and me. I'm serious. Have you done that yet?
Is that the one we're going to... No, I haven't done it. I keep farming out everything out.
That's what you're doing.
Okay.
That's what you're doing. And when you sing background singers, get someone to film it so there's three of you. You know, like you're holding your ear, singing, and you're looking at each other. Dude, it's you and me.
Thing. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll direct the video, okay?
Yeah, it'll be called Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast.
That's it.
That's it for this edition of Music on the Run, episode 30. This is my buddy Kenny Aronoff. Thanks so much. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All right, buddy. See ya. Woo!
Music on the Run was hosted by yours truly, St. Paul Peterson. Edited and produced by my buddy Davide Raso. Video editing by Ivan Sebastianov. And a very special thanks to the people who financially support this podcast. And remember, bald is beautiful.